Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You know what everybody's talking about right now? Everybody's talking about the high cost of heating. And we're going to talk about how you can save money on your heating bills. Got a lot of tips. There's like 15 tips. This is going to keep us busy for a little while. Okay, number one is dress for cold weather. You can see that right there. The house shoes. Socks is just not enough. Now, all through the summertime, I'm wearing socks because I'm just like one of these cold-natured crazy people. And so what you got to do is make sure you got enough clothes on, okay? Because even though you got to think about other folks too, I'm cold-natured, Phil is hot-natured. So I want to be warm enough, and if he makes it warm enough for me where I just walk around with shorts and t-shirt on, he is going to be burning up. So I can't do that to him. So we're cognizant of each other, you know. I'm cold, he's hot, so it's that thing going on. But just make sure you dress up for cold weather. Dress in layers. That's a good thing to do because you can always peel some of your clothes off if you got a coat on and a sweater. Like right here, I've got a my coat right here, my leather jacket, and then I also have my blouse on. You know, so if it gets hot in here with lights and all this stuff in the studio, you can always take the jacket off. So just make sure that you slap a pair of slippers on your feet as well as your socks. Add a hat. I love hats anyway. So add a hat, especially when you're going outside. Serve warm drinks, not cold. And then when you're entertaining or when you're relaxing with folks, I keep either hot chocolate or tea. I drink a lot of tea. And this is my coffee right here. So I keep all this stuff right here just ready, okay? Now, another thing you want to do is decorate for warmth. And what we mean by that is when it is cold outside, nothing says money in the bank like a house that's blinged out in warm accessories. Put flannel sheets on the bed, rugs on the floors, insulated curtains on the windows, and warm blankets on the sofa. Yeah, that will work. Yeah, all through the year because, again, Phil's cold-natured, I'm hot-natured. I mean, he's hot-natured, I'm cold-natured. And so we have like several blankets on the bed all through the year anyway. And so, you know, especially in the wintertime, but you know something, those thermal curtains can make all the difference in the world. And also sunlight coming in. So let's talk about that just for a second. Sunlight. Use the sun. Open the curtains during the day to allow the sun to warm your home. Then close those curtains at night to trap in the heat. Now, on the sides of the home where there's good sun exposure, keep the trees and the shrubs pruned away so the windows can receive full light. Yes, sun always works. I have a lot of my shows when it's not too sunny. I like to have those shows in the dining room because they have a big sliding glass window which faces the south. And I'm going to tell you what, it gets good and warm in there. My cat Greenlee likes to hang out in the dining room, and because it's warm, you know, and I got all that warmth and stuff coming in, and so that's just another good way that you just use the sun. Use the sun. Oh, and by the way, I had heard about, you know, people talk about having solar lights and you know solar all over the roof of the house and what have you. You got to make sure you keep those things clean. That's one thing. I was discussing that with somebody on the show the other day, and they said those things work really good, but what they don't tell you about is maintenance. You got to make sure you get all that off. I know some preppers who have made their own solar. They'll get like cans, you know, cola cans and stuff like that. And so what I'm going to do this one of these days just to see how it works. So what they'll do is they'll build something. It's however big you want to make it. You could make it, you know, like get a piece of plywood. You can do that. Have enough tin cans, and you need to paint them. Okay, so that's really important. They got to be painted black. So you'll line those up. Use hot glue or whatever to put those cans in there to make sure they stay. And you can use that as solar. So I'm going to try that, and I'm going to see how that works. Absolutely. Now, another thing, you know, we want to use our vent fans, and we want to use those companies coming over, and so, you know, maybe I burned the beans or something, and you use those fans, you know, to take odors out of your house and that kind of things. But now the fans suck out undesirable smells and moisture. We know that. But they also suck out a lot of the hot air from your home. So in the winter, don't run the kitchen or bathroom vent fans unless there is a need, because winter air is already quite dry and there may be no need to vent a bathroom after every shower. So in kitchens, use the vent fan, use it in the wintertime. Though you should really take care to properly vent when you're cooking with gas burning appliances. Now we all know about that. So when you are cooking gas and you got everything all closed off, make sure you got plenty of ventilation going there, maybe a ceiling fan or something like that. We're going to get to the ceiling fan in just a few seconds, though. So I also wanted to mention this, and this is to actually change out the furnace filters. Make sure you do that like regular, okay? Not just there once a year, anything like that. And this is why. A dirty filter makes your furnace and the heat pump work harder, and it leads to super scary numbers on that heating bill. I'm telling you what. Aim to swap the filters out at least once a month. Now, a variety of those filters are now available that also trap allergens. So if you've got asthma or something like that, or even pathogens such as viruses. Now, these cannot work effectively, though, unless they are changed on a regular basis. So make sure you check that out. And I know how it is. We're all busy with everyday life, and then, you think, well, I'm going to get to that a little bit later. I got a hint. If it's already looking black, get rid of it. You're not saving money, okay? By not changing out those filters, you're actually burning more money. So that bill is going to be a little bit higher. This is one I thought was really interesting too. And this is run the ceiling fans in reverse. I've heard this all my life, and this is so true. So hot air rises. So run the ceiling fan in reverse, and this will push the warm air back down to floor level. Most ceiling fans have switches that allow you to change the direction of the motor rotation. Phil, have you done that? I'll make sure he's done it. A slow fan speed is best. Okay, so reverse it with a slow fan speed, as it will gently push that warm air down without creating unpleasant drafts. Because, what good is it if you got it running on full blast and you got, don't do that. So low, reverse it, and running on low. Absolutely. This is another one right here, and this is number 7. Number 7, drum roll, please. Turn down the thermostat. Yeah, it sounds weird, but listen to this. A couple of degrees cooler when you're away or asleep, and we like to sleep in kind of a cooler-like room anyway, can make a big difference on the heating bill without any sacrifice from you. Saving 10 to 12% is possible if you run the system 5 to 10 degrees cooler at night or when you're away from the home. And installing a programmable thermostat or learning thermostat can allow you to do this automatically. Now, something else that Phil has learned as well. So, and all of them are supposed to be efficient, okay, nowadays. And they are better than they used to be. Not quite the big monster that it used to be, loud and that kind of thing. But one thing you want to do is let's say you start getting a cold snap. We're going to have it this week. The next couple of weeks is going to be super cold. Christmas Day, New Year's, all that. We're in for it. Yeah. If it goes into 30 degrees, we're going to consider that a tropical heat wave at this point. Absolutely. So let's say that it just starts getting cold overnight. Man, it starts going into the teens or even single digits. That's cold. So what you can do, don't turn the thermostat like 10, 12 degrees, because I'm going to tell you what, it really creates havoc on that unit. And you're going to, it bumps you're going to be paying a lot of money to do that. So just every few minutes, you can stand it. Go ahead and put on extra layers of clothes. Make sure you got your socks on and your house shoes on. And so turn that thermostat up 1 to 2 degrees at a time until you get it to the desired temperature. Don't roll it up anything over 2 degrees more, okay? Because again, it's going to put extra effort on that heat pump. And boom, you're going to wonder why your bills are so high. Gently, 1 to 2 at a time, 1 to 2 degrees at a time. So that's something we learned, okay? And we have noticed a difference in the heating bills. Okay, get an energy audit. This is something I'd like to do. Yeah, I think this might save some money. You won't find many doctors that make house calls these days, but you'll find plenty of energy auditors that do. Schedule an energy audit for your home. A lot of utility companies offer them for free or for a small fee. And find out where you can improve efficiency in your home. using a special thermal meter that technician can pinpoint the areas of heat loss. The technician will also review your appliances for energy efficiency. So if you still got your grandmother's old refrigerator from 1970, the heart, once I'm talking about the Harvest Green or or the brown, what was they called? The brown ones. I don't remember what that was called, but no, it was, let's see what it was. Harvest Gold. That's what it was. Avocado green. And I forgot what the brown one was called. But anyway, if you still got those old appliances, they're probably sucking the daylights out of your energy bill. You might opt to get the ones that are much more efficient. When we moved here to the farmhouse, my grandmother had this freezer that she had had probably since the 70s. The thing's a monster. It lasts forever, absolutely. But that thing was sucking up energy bills. So we found a more efficient one and noticed a huge, huge difference in the bill. Now you can always find somebody who will haul that old one off for you and for scrap metal, so you don't have to worry with it if you don't have a truck or whatever to get rid of it. But again, make sure that you get somebody out there, a technician can review the appliances for energy efficiency. Okay, adding insulation. Yep, adding insulation works. Plug your zip code into the Department of Energy's insulation tool to find out how much insulation your home needs. Then beef up your existing insulation as needed. Solutions can include having blown-in insulation added to the walls without enough insulation lying down on the attic blanket of fiberglass, insulation bats, sealing windows and doors with new weather stripping, and insulating electrical boxes with foam gaskets. So let me tell you what we did when we first moved back here, okay? The house had been vacant for I think it's like 12, 13 years, something like that. And when a house is just left vacant, nobody's living in it, things just happen to it because you're not having the regular heating and the regular cooling during the different seasons of the year. And it wreaks havoc on the windows and on the floors and everything. We've had to have floors replaced, the whole works. The house is just now looking pretty because we had to spend money on a lot of ugly stuff, like efficiency has got to be. So that very first winter we moved in, we didn't know what bad shape the house was in. It was just in terrible shape. So before we could get somebody out here to fix quite a few things, we had to hurry up and do things. So we got, or Phil found weather stripping, and he put that on all the windows, because I'm going to tell you what, we had that heat going up full blast and it was still cold in here. But you would walk by a window and Phil would say, well, it's because we got all this air coming in on the windows, look. And my granddad, so we've got reversed roles. My grandmother was always burning up. My granddad was cold-natured. So I'm the cold-natured Phil, I just mentioned it a few minutes ago. Phil's a hot-natured one. So he was always freezing, so this was always a toasty, warm home before they passed. And so we had to go ahead and get weather stripping. I was running around with electrical tape and whatever trying to, while Phil was getting weather stripping ready, and I was sealing off. Plain old electrical tape helps. If you want to get the packaging tape and that kind of thing, and you could just, you would just put your hand by the window and you could just feel that cold air coming in. That's going to murder you. You're going to have such a high bill. It's not funny. So make sure that you check this out. And by the way, this website is a real good one. It's thespruce.com. The Spruce, SPRUCE.com. Let's go ahead and get to another one before we go into a commercial break. And that's give vents the all clear. Now, how do we do that? Move all the furniture and belongings away from your heating vents. I've seen people put their couch by a heating vent. Don't do that. So they can deliver all the heat that you're paying for. Couches or other furniture blocking heating vents make the furnace work harder to deliver warm air, increasing the running time and energy costs. Also make sure that the heat registers and the dampers are fully open to allow for the full flow of warm air. Now, that's another thing you got to check on as well. I'll tell you something I wish we'd never done. When we had a heating unit put in here, I let Mother talk me into this. She said, you need to have the vents up in the ceiling. That way you can place your furniture. Bad idea. Because what happens is that heat is up there and we're having to use ceiling fans or whatever to get that hot air to come on down. So if you have a choice and you're getting a new heating unit or cooling unit installed, it's best to have the vents on the floor. Okay, my grandparents always had it on the floor. So make sure you do that. We've got to go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes with more ideas. How can we save energy? I'm going to tell you how to do that in just a few minutes. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales look forward to serving you. And you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Fort Payne and Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by the locations in Fort Payne and Gadsden. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Patterson's Music and Jewelry is a full-line music store offering guitar repair, setup and sound installation equipment, as well as instrument rentals and new and used guitars and amps. We offer jewelry at affordable prices and jewelry repair, watch batteries and link removal, and we offer personalized jewelry such as fingerprint, mother's rings, and pendants. Shop in historic downtown Fort Payne on Galt Avenue. Hours are 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturday. Call 256-845-4115. That's 256-845-4115. And thank you for trusting Patterson's Music and Jewelry. We're back. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna Thuzell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. You can find us on the web at icradio.media. Remember, we do a lot of giveaways here on this show. Lots of birthday clubs and, anniversary and even date night clubs. So if your name is not picked for the birthday club or the anniversary club, no worries. We'll keep your name in a box and you just might win one of the date nights. So anyways, thank you so much for staying tuned to us. You can find us on television several different ways. You can go to the channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is in North Alabama. Another way you can find us is on Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We've been talking about 15 tips for reducing your home heating costs. Boy, there's a lot of them. Look at this one right here. First of all, dress for warm weather. And then you want to decorate for warmth. You have plenty of blankets there. And then you want to warm the sun. Use the sun, okay? I mean, it's free for you. So use that as much as you possibly can. And then another thing you want to do is reduce the use of those vent fans, because they make it smell good in there. If you got, if you've done something like burn the beans or whatever, it's good for that. But that also sucks up all that warm air, and then also make sure you change that furnace filter like often. If it starts showing any kind of brown or black or anything on it, please go ahead and do that. And especially if you're a smoker or if you have candles in the house. The soy candles and the beeswax candles are not so bad, but when you have paraffin candles, black soot can get all over everything. And that's another reason that you definitely want to change those out. And then we got our buddy right up there running the ceiling fans in reverse. Make sure you do that. We actually also talked about turning down the thermostat, and when you're turning it up, only do it a couple of degrees at a time, because if you rush in there and going ahead and start it with 5-10 degrees at a time, man, your bill's going to go zoom. I mean, super, super high. So be careful about that. Getting an energy audit is a really good thing to do too. In most cases, it's free, or maybe they charge a small fee, but it's worth it because there may be some stuff going on you're not even aware of, and we've talked before about, vampires can be in your house too. That's when you leave everything plugged in and you're not even using the appliance. And that's what you call vampires. Ask anybody from the power company. They're going to know what you're talking about. The website we're talking about is thespruce.com. We also talked about adding insulation. Make sure you do that. Even you can do it yourself. It's been hard to do in this house. It works basically. Well, this is an old house. I mean, this house was built like in the 1930s. And so even though my grandparents had it insulated, there are a lot of crossbars in the walls, on the inside of the walls, where you couldn't get the insulation down. So spray insulation sometimes works better than having the foam insulation. Give the vents an all clear, saying, you're on, you can go, and just make sure there's nothing in the way of the vents, like your furniture placement and stuff like that. Okay, here's another one. Number 11 is close the fireplace damper. If you got a fireplace, keeping that damper closed when your fireplace isn't in use to prevent all that warm air from like circulating out. So it's a quick exit, I'm telling you that. And that can go up the chimney. Also be aware of any use of any open wood burning fireplace. It can cause net energy loss in your home. More energy escapes up the chimney than is added to the home through burning wood. So you can't live without the crackling flames. If you can't live without the crackling flames, converting an open fireplace with a glass door insert will make a wood-burning fireplace more efficient and minimize heat loss from the home. We've got the fireplace, and I love the fireplace. I remember my grandparents always had logs burning and what have you, but I'm going to tell you what. It costs a lot of money to heat. I mean, it really does. And so what we do, like at Christmas time, you want a little sparkle in the fireplace because that's our dining room now. So we have these really cute little lights that we keep plugged in at Christmas and really all through the year. And if you want to see like the illumination of fire, use lights or get candles and put those in. If you'll get the beeswax candles or the soy candles, they're going to last a long time, even if you're using tea lights. So like a little tea light's going to last several hours. With beeswax, will even last longer than a soy candle does. But if you use the paraffin, I'm just telling you, within 30 minutes, that little tea light's gone. But hours if you'll just get the right kind of candle. Okay, get a furnace tune-up. This is important too. Now, keeping your furnace or the heat pump running at peak performance by having it tuned up by a professional once a year. Okay, it's a small expense that could lead into a lot of savings. Yeah, it can save a lot of money. Among other things, the furnace technician will check the burners and exhaust vents to make sure they're working at top efficiency. Often simply cleaning the burners can make a noticeable difference in your energy costs. Same thing with your refrigerator, any of your appliances. You know those little in the back of the refrigerator? And I'm going to tell you what, anything electrical is just you can be the cleanest housekeeper in the entire world. But your refrigerator, your computers, all those things are they are an attraction for dust. I don't know how many times I had to clean my computer. It's like constantly doing that. Same applies for everything that's an appliance. I don't know what the deal is, but they definitely do attract dust. Again, you can be as clean as you want to be, but that's just going to happen. Okay, wrap your vent ducts. Make sure you keep those, because if you're living out in the country like we are, you got squirrels, and you got, all kinds of little critters that will be under your house trying to get warm. And sometimes what they do is move, like you may have it wrapped up. You just got to make sure it stays wrapped because they're going to be scratching on it and different things can happen. So just make sure you keep a good eye out for that. But vent fans lose a considerable amount of heat into attics by radiating up through the ductwork. Now, wrapping these ducts with full-faced fiberglass insulation can dramatically reduce the amount of heat loss through those ducts. Again, you got critters, especially when you're living out in the country, that are trying to get warm. So they're going up in your attic, they're going down in the bottom of, at the house, under the floors. They're going everywhere. That's why, living out in the country is just the one thing I don't like about living out in the country. The one thing. Everything else is worth it. Okay, number 14, simply replace an old furnace. I mean, they made them like they were big monsters. And I remember the first one that my grandparents had here on the farm. It was loud. I mean, we had to yell it at each other so you could understand what we were saying. It was that loud. The heating and cooling, it was so funny. My granddad would say, "I'm sorry, Sugar, I can't hear what you're saying." Well, it's because the furnace was like, boom. It was just boring loud. But breakups are never easy. I know you paid a lot for this heating unit, and you've had it for a really long time, but sometimes it's just time to end it. No more. Although the initial investment may seem prohibitive, you'll be surprised at how fast a high-efficiency furnace can pay for itself when compared to an old conventional furnace. There may be also tax incentives. Make sure you check out with your tax person about that, like Rhonda. Rhonda's Elite Tax Service. She has been handling my taxes since 2013. She's my go-to source. So I'll call Rhonda and say, "Hey, are there any tax breaks if we do this or if we do that, to control the heating and cooling bills?" We're going to get her on the show, too, pretty soon, so she can talk to you about what you need to hurry up and do before the end of the year. There may also be tax incentives if you replace an old furnace with a high efficiency model. We got time for this one. Okay, negotiate better energy rates. Did you know you can do that? Yeah, it never hurts to ask, right? What are they going to say? No. They're not going to slap you around. They're not going to shoot you or anything like that. So if you feel like you're taking too much, paying too much for your electricity, your gas, or your oil, then shop around for a better rate. Now, some of us are in small towns. We're pretty much well stuck, but if you're in a bigger city, like in Charlotte, North Carolina, you could do that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. As long as you live in a deregulated state, there's plenty of room to negotiate. Now, your state or your energy company may also have a homeowner assistance available, and that's depending on your income level. So if you're elderly, you might want to check with the Council of Aging. They can help save you a whole lot of money as well. So go ahead and check them out. We got a real good one right here in DeKalb County. They are top notch. And so, if we have any questions, like from Mother or whatever, we're going ahead and give them a call. And they're right on. Lynn Hickson is the person we ask for right here in DeKalb County. And they're in your county as well. Every county in the whole United States has a Council on Aging group, okay, that can help you with things like that. Thank you so much for watching Afternoon Drive Home. I hope I've helped you save some money. I've given you some food for thought. And so I hope that you'll look that up. Again, this website is thespruce.com. Thespruce.com. Look it up, and they'll save you a whole lot of money. Thank you again so much for watching. You are the apple of my eye. You know you are. I'll be talking to you a little bit later, so you take care.